serve him?
He said you can. There's been a lot of conflict between you and Mr. Eden. I'm aware of that. So a way to perhaps
Well, this is
avoid
regarding
contact.
the kids, though. They say that the box just didn't get checked. They said you didn't check the box that Mr. Eden would stop harassing and stalking the kids. That's all it is. Even the clerk said it just looked like you missed the box.
Okay. So, ma'am,
I mean, yeah,
we're
there
going to
is additional stuff, but for the old stuff, it was just a box checking.
So if it's that simple, then maybe this can be agreed to. But for today, Mr. Coker, I think, has put on the record, said you can serve him as a courtesy to get to Mr. Eden. So you don't have to, you can avoid that process. When he gets served,
okay.
he hadn't been.
So I don't have to worry about the sheriff. He's busy. I can just send it directly to Mr. Coker?
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Your Honor. Okay, now I understand.
Great. And then once he gets that, and he wouldn't have, he would appear after he got the notice. Had it gone to Mr. Eden, Mr. Eden brings it to Mr. Coker, then he'd submit a notice of appearance. He's saying you can circumvent that by just getting that to Mr. Coker, and that'll take care of it.
Okay, thank you.
This is not a written, but it's kind of a notice of appearance on the record, which he will follow up with, which he just said he will follow up with a written notice.
Okay, all right. Thank you for clarifying that.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Great. Now.
All right. So 2 weeks. You're not going to get. We can email. We're going to email notice to both you folks, and we'll see you here in 2 weeks.
Okay. Thank you.
And Your Honor, sorry, just to make sure that I'm aware that that's the 14th of October.
14th of October.
October 14th.
Yep. And actually, Mr. Coker, we're handing notice to your client right now.
All right. Thank you. And then Jeff, just give me a call.
Okay.
So, Mr. Eden, you can come up and grab that, and then you're free to go. And Ms. Pardee, you're free to leave the Zoom call there.
Thank you. Okay.
No,
Sheriff Warnock, the sheriff, is she's in violation.
Okay, we're not going to know. I'm going to stop you. And no, you can't say that right now. Okay, you grab that. Yep, and you're free to go.
Oh,
thank you, Mr. Coker.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So it looks to me like, well, I remember this case. And the last time you were in front of me, I believe was in January?
Yes.
Hang on just a second. And then orders were granted that went on both cases. There was no contact orders entered in both cases, orders against each other. Ms. Pardee, I think, brought a motion to, I'm going to make sure I got the right one, brought a motion to modify. And Mr. Eden filed his own motion to modify. So read this. So you're asking about bright lights, additional cameras, cell phone, Wi-Fi jammers to interrupt in communication. And what your motion to modify is to prevent no lights, lasers, cell phone jammers, listening devices, no video with cell phone at any time coming and going on family. And then you have some exhibits there. So basically, yeah, just eliminate those things, laser, cell phone, and all of that. Mr. Eden, on his motion to modify, there's no floodlight shining up to my yard, no more live streaming on Facebook from a personal cell phone of my property or myself, my dump truck at any time. There's multiple surveillance camera filming my property, yourself, dump truck, and post them on Facebook and live stream over multiple Facebook sites. So it's kind of like you're both complaining about the same thing against each other, is what I'm getting. I'm going to go back to order, and I'm not going to need any argument on this, and I'm going to read the order to you both that I think is
Your Honor, I have
applied.
no floodlights.
Okay, so just listen to me, ma'am, for a second. And I had hoped to make this clear when I entered this order. And then this box is checked, and this applies to you both because it's checked on both orders. For physical or electronic surveillance, cyber harass, or use phone, video, audio, or other electronic means to record, photograph, or track locations, communication, including digital, wire, or electrical communication of the protected person. That applies to both of you. Neither of you are allowed to do those things that I just read to each other. You both are accusing each other of doing those things. The way you want to modify the order that's currently in place is covered by that paragraph. So if he's doing things like he's videoing you, ma'am, tracking you on your property through lights, that could be argued that that's a violation of the order. I'm not making that finding. I'm saying that it is. The same is true with you. If she's videoing you and live streaming on that, that could be argued as being stalking behavior. So the things you're complaining about, my position is those are covered by the order already. And so I'm not going to modify, I just made up a word. I'm not going to modify the order in either case. And if either of you feel that one is violating the order in any way, you make a complaint to the police and then refer that to the prosecutor's office, and that gets handled there. But both motions to modify both orders are going to be denied. And again, I just encourage
Your Honor, we're talking about the kids, the children. I need you to protect the children from Mr. Eden. That's the box. The clerk, the sheriff's department, the box did not get checked for stalking and harassing the children. Give
me just a minute. That should have been checked. We can check that box.
There's two different places for that box.
Just, ma'am, I am familiar with the orders. So give me a minute here. That's checked in the contact. Yeah, that order was checked.
Stalking.
In the stalking. We'll include that in the stalking then also. So these orders applies to that child too, which should have been since there. Do you understand?
We knew that.
Okay. So I will make that change, ma'am. I will check that box.
Okay, thank you.
And that was an oversight on my part. I did check it on one, but not on the other. And again, can you? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print that order. I'm going to check that box, label it the first amended no contact order. So the children, I'll check the box in both things so that the children will be included.
Thank you.
You have any questions about that?
Oh, I know exactly.
Okay, great. And you can get copies of that off the Thurston County District Court website.
Your Honor?
Yes.
With the stuff that's submitted to you today, we haven't had enough time with Sheriff Warnock to get the information of her.
Okay, so I'm just saying that all that, if you have a complaint that the order is being violated, you need to take it up. The order's in place.
Oh, we just didn't have enough time to get it in to show you.
Yeah, I'll white that up. So I'm checking the box. There's caused no harm. Minors, no contact. And in the stalking paragraph, which I would encourage you both to read, it checks the minor box is now checked, ma'am.
Thank you.
With all this information that we submitted.
Yes.
I just don't understand how there's not enough proof in the courts.
Well, there might be. I'm not making a finding on that. The order's in place. You're asking me to adjust the order. I mean, all this stuff is covered. If there's a violation, that's determined by somebody else. You go to the prosecutor's office and the police, and they determine all that.
Yes.
So I mean, and that's entirely up to them.
Okay, thank you.
But we're not at the point where I make that decision or not. Can you give me another one there?
Oh.
Yep. Take that and you're free to go. You're free to leave the Zoom call, Ms. Pardee.
Thank you.
Patrick and Lisa Ward, why don't you come on up and take a seat? So they were unable to serve Mr. Wilkes.
No, all I have is an affidavit of posting. He's in apparently in Oregon with his mother, and they never were able to contact him. They never answered the door.
Okay. So again, has this been reissued before?
It has been very difficult to contact.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to attempt
And
again.
even the police tried to arrest him. And
Which happens.
couldn't contact him.
So I guess, so he's here on September 9th, was reset to today. And then I guess it's a matter of, we can reissue it again, reset it for another 2 weeks, give you a chance to get them served. But this can't go on forever.
Right.
And so at some point, and if they're gone, then they may, that might mean that he's not bothering you anymore.
No, he
But-
still is.
Okay.
He still is a constant weekly.
Okay, so we'll reissue, give you a
Okay,
chance to.
thank you.
reissue.
Yes, thank you.
Days, why don't we go October 21st? Can you mute them? Okay, so hang on before you go that. Oh, we've already, okay, that's all right. I was going to instruct on that. Did you make copies of this? Okay. So stand by, she'll make a copy of that.
Thank you.
And then there was someone on 495 who we muted, and whoever's on the cell phone that ends in 495, to unmute, you need to push *6. Can you do that, please? And cell phone ending in 287, what's your name?
Lori Mollenbry.
Thank you.
I was already here, but okay, thank you.
Yep, okay, you can go ahead and you can mute, ma'am, and then you need to push *6. Someone ending in 495, you need to push *6 on a cell phone. There you go. What's your name, ma'am?
Hello?
Or sir? Yes, what's your
Kathleen
name?
Wren.
Thank you.
Kathleen
You can
Wren.
I got it. And so you're going to mute back
Okay.
up. And when the time comes, we'll call your case.
All right, thank you.
Sure. Can you mute? My jabs went down here. Are you still on the Zoom call there? And if you're on a telephone, ma'am, there,
Yeah, I'm
Samsung,
here.
are you? And it says Samsung SM-F741U. You're Ms. Bondurant?
Yes.
Okay. So again, Jennifer Vitovich does not appear to be here. It's now 9:40. Given her lack of appearance, ma'am, this will be dismissed. She may, I don't know what happens. Sometimes people want to refile these when this happens.
Can you just do a
And,
motion to waive?
Motion to waive what?
I don't know. I heard that once on TV.
Okay, well, so she's asking for an order against you, right? She's a petitioner. She wanted an order to keep you away from her. So since she didn't appear, then this gets dismissed. There's not an
Oh,
order.
okay, cool.
So I said she can refile if, sometimes things happen, like their car broke down or couldn't get connected or we live in an era of Zoom, which is everyone can tell doesn't always go smoothly. It's not going smoothly all that here this morning. Sometimes people, can't get in or they're not available or whatever. So they'll still want the order. So they'll refile it. So she can do that. But since she didn't appear, it's going to get dismissed here for today.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. We can do that one later. And so, yeah, we'll put that later. And you're free to leave the Zoom call.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Ms. Mallenbray, can you come on the Zoom call, please? And then if you're on your phone, I think I said you were, you need to push *6 to unmute. And let me know when you can speak.
Can you hear me
Can you hear
now?
me now?
Yes, I can. I can hear you twice. So you're going to have to mute one of your devices, either your phone or your computer. And it doesn't matter to me.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay.
So it didn't look like we have service against Mr. Brown. Am I
Okay,
missing
so
something?
the sheriff tried to serve him twice and couldn't locate him. So I served him electronically on Friday and sent a copy to Chase at the civil division at the courthouse. I don't know if that's acceptable or I don't know.
How did you serve him electronically? I mean, how did you get his email? Or how
Somebody I know had his email.
Who did?
Somebody I know that also has cases against him had his email.
Hang on just a minute.
Okay, thank you.
Does this person live near you?
The other side of town.
Okay. The problem with electronic service, ma'am, it's hard for me to tell whether or not the person actually received it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So what did the sheriff say about getting them served?
They could never find him. And so the first time they went to his address and they couldn't find him. And the second time he was supposed to be in court last Friday, and he never showed up. They tried to serve him there, but he never showed.
Did a warrant get issued?
No.
All right. So here's what's going to, ma'am, we'll reset this one more time. We'll reissue notice. We'll give you a chance to try and get him served. It'll be reset for 2 weeks. You can serve him again electronically, or try to, and then we'll reconvene here in a week and see where we're at. Eventually, we'll enter a default in your favor, probably, but I need to have some sort of verification, if we can, that he actually got this. See what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, I understand. So now
All
do I get a second order and bring it to the
Yes, I'm
sheriff?
signing it right now. It'll get emailed to you.
Okay, thank you.
We'll set it for October, why don't we go 21st?
Gotta write that down.
Get a copy. So that'll get emailed to you. You're free to leave the Zoom call, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, I'm here.
Were you able to get service? I didn't see that there was any service in the file on this case.
I don't know yet, so I would imagine not.
Okay. So it looks like this has been reissued. We did get a return of non-service in that the sheriff's office was unable to locate him. And so this has been reissued once before. How do you want to proceed here this morning?
Well, I'd like to see if it could be reissued again because
Okay, so hang on just a second. So with that we can go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to give you the time and date and all that sort of stuff, and then you can sign off because like I say, are we going to reissue it? So just stand by for a minute.
okay, thank you.
And so while she's standing by there, Ms. Ward, I'm going to come to you. It's kind of a same situation. I didn't see that there was any service on Mr. Wilkes yet. Okay, so again, this has been reissued a few times. So I'm wondering where are we headed with this? Are you Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Behind there? Okay, all right.
So we have new information.
Okay.
We know where he is going to be working.
Okay.
There's a young woman that is.
Okay, so if you're asking me to reissue the order, then yes, we can do that. This can't go on forever,
We understand.
but we'll reissue it one more time here. So just stand by for a minute.
Excuse me, Donna?
And then what's 2 weeks from today?
Your
November
Honor,
4th.
November 4th.
Yes?
He starts working in 3 weeks.
Okay, we can do it further than that if you wish.
Thank you.
But Ms. Mallenbray will redo November 4th.
Thank you.
I'm speaking to Ms. Mallenbray on the Zoom call
Okay,
at 9 a.m.
okay.
to allow more time to serve. Have you been dealing with the sheriff's office to get him served?
Yes, I have.
Okay, you're gonna have to continue to do that. And then a copy, he's gonna email to her. A copy of this will get emailed to you, and then you're free to leave the Zoom call.
Oh, am I free to leave now?
Yes,
Okay, thank you, Judge.
I'm signing the order that reissues the order.
Thank you.
Now, I think I see Miss Mallenbray
Thank you, Your
has joined us.
Thank you, Devin. Yes, I was unable to unmute it before for some reason when you called my name.
Okay,
Sorry.
well, we'll go back to your case now. And this is your petition against Jesse James Brown. This is number 24-325. And Jesse Brown did not answer the call to calendar. What I wanted to do here is to address the issue of whether the notice of the hearing and the temporary and the petition were served on Mr. Brown.
I have the copy of the service right here, and I believe it was filed with the court. I don't know what day, to tell you the truth, that I took it up there last.
Because I saw it earlier, but I'm not seeing it now. Don't know why. What's the date on it? Oh, it's not showing up in my file.
Yes, I haven't found it.
Okay.
It says unable to find subject.
Yeah, she filed a proof of service, though. I'm relatively certain she filed a proof of service that I did see previously, and now I don't see it.
I did last Monday. I'm looking at it, but it doesn't help you.
Here we go. I think I found it. No, no, that's not it either. Yeah, no, yeah, can you take that outside, please? You take that outside, please?
Yeah, sorry.
And your return of service was not from the sheriff's office, right? It was from a process server?
Yes, correct. The sheriff's office
Okay.
couldn't find him because he's moved to Seattle to avoid being served. So we had to hire, myself and another woman who was trying to serve him, had to hire a process service to find him.
Yeah, do you recall? Oh, wait a minute. May have found it. But there was an actual written declaration in here by a process server who described serving him. And if I remember right, he did it in Seattle.
That is correct.
Yeah, so I know I've seen the document. Is there a way, I hate to, oh, here we go. Here it is. It's in her exhibits. There it is. It was filed on October 28th. So yes, now I've got the affidavit of the service that was filed. Okay. In her group of exhibits. Yeah, it came in with the exhibits and it was filed with them, but yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm satisfied then that there's been appropriate service on Jesse James Brown. So there being no response from Jesse James Brown, I will issue the protection order, the anti-harassment order by default.
And I have a question, Judge.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Could you please make Seattle Police and Thurston County Sheriffs to serve it? Because I don't know.
It doesn't need to be served any further.
Oh, okay.
It's been served adequately. So that's all that needs to happen.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So then he doesn't need to be served the permanent one?
No.
Okay, thank you.
I do need to do is make sure that the orders match. All right, Ms. Mellembry, I have extended your anti-harassment order for a year.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
May I leave now?
Yeah, you absolutely can.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Aileen Gardner and Julie Oberbillig.
And
yes, good morning, Your Honor.
Hi there. So I didn't see any service in the file there, Ms. Oberbillig.
No, we filed the declaration of due diligence that I believe they got into the court file this morning.
Give me just a second. I haven't looked at it yet today. So we don't see that made it in there yet there. So what are you asking to have happen here today?
Oh, that's
we could reissue, give a chance to serve.
Yes, well, as is evident in the declaration of due diligence, the address where they have located Mr. Manu is a marina. So his house, he's apparently living on his boat, and his residence is thus mobile. He was criminally charged in connection with this assault and has failed to appear. There's a bench warrant out for his arrest. So that's been at least 6 months. We could certainly try, but the declaration of due diligence indicates that they feel, given their efforts, that perhaps some alternate method of service is going to be necessary ultimately.
How do you want to do that?
Well,
I mean, I'll hear from you as to suggestions.
If service by mail is an option, it's my understanding from the process server that mail is accepted at that marina in Shelton.
Okay. Is there a no contact order out of the criminal case?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Again, I don't see your.
I spoke with the clerk this morning and he said he was adding it to the file, but apparently it didn't make it.
Okay, we can reissue the temporary. We can issue it for 3. I did see that now. I read that. We'll reissue the temporary for 3 weeks. I'll authorize attempted service by registered mail, so you can get a signature there.
Okay, thank you.
And a copy of this will get emailed, at least probably to you too. Do we email that too? You set it for October 21st. At 9 a.m. So I've indicated that under the service is required. You can make private arrangements to serve him. I indicated alternate service allowed by registered mail, and then we'll reconvene on October 21st.
Thank you, Your Honor. And by registered mail, do you mean certified or any method by which he has to sign for it?
Any by with admit there's some acknowledgement of his receipt.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Gardner, or is Ms. Oberbillig, are you here for her or with her? There you are. And then in somewhat of a recurring theme, I don't see that there was service on this case either. So I guess where are we headed with this case?
No.
I can't hear you muted. I heard you say no, and then you went off the air after that. No, still can't get it. Now you're muted and I definitely can't hear you.
Can you hear me, Your Honor?
I can, yeah, it starts. I say, can you hear me? Then people need to stop in the courtroom, all right? So you don't want people talking or messing around when it's your case. So let's not do the same here. Do you understand that? And you can take your hat off. Sorry about that, Ms. Oberbillig.
I apologize, Your Honor.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening with your sound. It starts and then it kind of fades out. So if you can, again, I have no idea why that is happening. But if you want to set in the chat function, just tell us what you wish to do here for today. But it sounds like you agree that there's no service.
Correct.
And if you want us just to reissue this for another couple of weeks, we can certainly do that.
Yes,
Okay,
please.
I did hear that. Okay, so we'll reissue this again for another 2 weeks. A copy of it get emailed to you. And then is she with you here today, or is she just, you just figured this would happen because you knew there was no service? 2 weeks would be November 4th. And a copy of that will get emailed to you there, Ms. Oberbillig, and then you're free to leave the Zoom call.
All right. And then Aileen Gardner.
Good morning, Your Honor. I think that will be a quick one. We haven't been able to obtain service.
And I'm going to call those first. All right. So we don't have Melike Manu. No. All right. Let's start with Gardner versus Manu 24-327. Mr. Valley.
And I was going to ask for a continuance, and that's enough for me to let the court know that.
Okay.
I'm sure the court will.
I'll call your case next. All right. So we did not attain service on Melike Manu.
No, unfortunately not, Your Honor.
All right. Would you like the matter reset?
We've reset it 3 times without being able to obtain service.
No.
So my client's not here. She's working this morning. My presumption is that with that many continuances.
Yeah, 3, yes. Okay. And that's one of the things about the computer issues. I don't have the ability to just pull that up and look. So I appreciate you telling me that.
Sure. The process server hasn't been able to obtain it registered. Mail didn't work, and he still hasn't appeared for a criminal case connected with this. So.
All right. Then what I'll do, if you have the order on that, is I will dismiss the petition for the inability to obtain service without prejudice. So the order is signed dismissing the petition without prejudice.
So
all right, Mr. Valley.
with that, who's going to speak for the Thalhammers? You can stay seated. And what's your name, sir?
Scott Thalhammer.
Could you raise your right hand, please? You swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. How is it you need an order against Mr. Murphy?
Sir, I'd like to present the statement. We have engaged with counsel and want our case to proceed with representation. Our attorney is not available to present our case today because he has another case at exactly this time. And he will need more time. Our attorney is Justin Huxford with Bud Bay Law.
That's okay. Has he submitted a notice of appearance?
I am not sure, Your Honor.
When did you engage him? I am. He has not. What? When did you engage
I have
him?
Your Honor, would you like to see this letter?
No, I'm asking you, I'd like you to answer my question.
Yes, sir. We do have an engagement letter here in my hand dated September 25, 2024.
All right. Did he say when he would be available?
Yes, sir. He said, can I read the rest of the statement that he wrote for us?
Well,
it has the dates in here.
okay.
He said here.
No, I don't want you to read that.
Okay, it's he said he will be.
I'm going to ask you, is he available 2 weeks from today on the 14th?
Sir, he said he's only available on October 14 or October 28.
That's 2 weeks from today.
Uh,
So hang on just a second. Mr. Murphy?
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
No.
And so you've heard what they said, which I didn't know till now. Generally, I do allow that when attorneys come in, they'll want to reset it. So I would be inclined just to reset this for 2 weeks, and then we can reconvene on the 14th and figure out. There's not an order in place, and so we're not there. Again, I'd remind everyone there's no order in place here right now. And so that would be inclined to do here for today. You can appear by Zoom at the next hearing if that's more convenient, but it's up to you. You have it, and I'd understand probably you want to get this resolved here today. And but Jen, it's just my general practice to allow one continuance of this sort.
Your Honor, can I say something? I'm just speaking for my household, me and my husband.
Right.
Prior to starting this hearing, I actually approached Mr. Murray. I just don't want this to linger on as much as he would like it to linger on.
So hang on just a minute. So just a minute. So hang on. Let me finish. Let me speak here for a minute. Okay. So you're the petitioner. You folks.
Both of us. Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. And so you're the ones asking for the order. So let me finish, please, ma'am. Just please don't cut me off. And so now I hear from Mr. Thalhammer, we want to set this over. So and you have an attorney, and when you have an attorney, it's not a great idea to be speaking to the other side. I'm just going to say that. So from where I sit, it looks like you are the folks who are asking to have this linger on to another hearing. So I mean, I guess I'm kind of which is a long way of saying I'm getting kind of conflicting messages between you two. He's saying, let's set this over. You're saying, I don't want this to linger on. So
if I can say something.
Say that she's a local medical doctor.
Okay, so hang on just a second. So she's talking, and I'll hear from here. And I think if she's a medical doctor, I'm quite confident that she can speak for herself.
I just would like to say that the reason why I approached him is I was hoping that we can just settle this instead of being in the court. This morning I approached him and I asked him, I introduced myself, and I just wanted to extend basically if we can just agree, if he can agree not to, drive or use the loud, explosive noise that will wake me and my husband up.
So
and he mentioned to me that, you should not be talking.
I'm going to stop you. And again, he's right. You probably shouldn't, given the emotions involved. And the second thing is now he's even more right that once you have an attorney, I don't think your attorney wants him talking to you either. And so, yes, if you can work this out, if you're, then that's fine. But he shouldn't be talking to you right now. If you have, and I'm told now you have an attorney. That's the last thing I would think that you, and I'm pretty sure your attorney doesn't want you talking to him either once you're retained. Go ahead, ma'am.
I was hoping that he will agree with that. I would not have the lawyer get involved here.
Okay.
That was my whole intent.
Okay.
Because if we can settle that, because I can understand.
Ma'am, hang on just a second. I can't do anything without your attorney being here. Can't do it. Once you have an attorney, then the attorney speaks for you, and you can't. And
I just would like you to understand that, my whole intent when I spoke with him is to hopefully that he will agree and that I will just drop
to this letter out of court.
Out of court settlement, that if he agrees that I will just drop this.
Then you need, you know what, now that can still happen. But now that you have an attorney, that needs to go through the attorney and that's the rules of the game there.
The record, can this letter be entered?
For what purpose? It's an offer of settlement really isn't, if that's what that is, that's not really germane to the issue. And an offer of settlement really is something a deciding judge can't really consider. look, you have an attorney now. What you need to do is speak to your attorney and then get some counsel from him. And that's where we're at. And Mr. Murphy, I will tell you, chances are that their attorney may reach out to you, and you can speak to them if you want to, or you don't have to if you don't want to. And so that's where we're at. We'll give you a notice. We'll give you both a notice of hearings here for the 14th, and then we'll be back here at that time.
I have another question, Your Honor.
Sure.
So when I was talking with him, he mentioned that.
Who's him?
Mr. Murray here.
Okay.
He mentioned that you don't know what's going to happen after this hearing. It is not a threat, but to me, I just want to have peace in our community.
Right.
And I have not been sleeping well for days when his truck really wakes me up.
It's a car,
in the middle.
Camaro.
It's a loud, it's like an explosive. It will wake me up in the middle of the night. But the point that I'm making here is, now that we're going to move this hearing 2 weeks from today,
Right.
what am I about to experience? Am I going to be harassed with loud noises, not giving me peace and sleep that I need?
Okay. So, ma'am, I can't predict the future. And I think I said at the temporary hearing, I had some reservations about this at the beginning. And so I don't know what's going to happen, other than we're going to reset it for 2 weeks, and then we'll reconvene then and figure out where we go from here. But that's what's going to happen. So you can get notice, one of the Thalhammers, Mr. Thalhammer, you can come up and grab that, and then you're free to go. Mr. Murphy, why don't you come on up and get this, and then you could probably be a great idea for folks to leave separately. You can take that, and then Mr. Murphy and you, ma'am, could go ahead and leave, and then you're all free to leave also.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Or back there. You had said you were going to get an attorney, or thought you had one. Do you have an attorney with you here today?
He's not here.
Go ahead. Okay, hang on just a second. I think I see him on the screen up there. You can sit back down.
Good morning, Your Honor. Hi,
there, Mr. Coney.
good morning, Your Honor. I'm just filling in for Mr. Huxford this morning. Unfortunately, there's a conflict in his scheduling, and he is down in Lewis County Superior Court. I am asking for a 4-week continuance. The reason why it's such a long continuance is because there's been a records request for some video footage, and I'm only filling in for him for today's purposes.
Okay, yeah, we'll come back to that. The Murphys are here as well. No, I think she wasn't able to go.
Yeah, I think for whatever reason it stopped.
Okay, all right, okay. Great. So, Mr. Koenig, you could come back on.
Mr.
Murphy is only to respond. Why don't you come on up here and take that seat? And the Thalhammers will come up and sit there.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I just want to confirm, is my Zoom working? Because it appears like it is working on my end, but I don't know.
So, no temporary was entered in this case. It was just set for hearing. This video footage you mentioned, what are you talking about?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Thalhammer filed a declaration describing the request a little bit, and I believe that was filed last week. But the request is based off of the last time the parties were at court. I guess there's a confrontation in the parking lot between the two parties, and Mr. Huxford has requested video footage of the camera from the courthouse to look at that confrontation. And I guess his estimate was approximately 4 weeks is what he told me on when he would get the access to the video.
I mean, I'll be frank with you. It's coming as news to me that the parking lot is videoed around here. Is there a video camera in the parking lot?
I'm only able to report what I'm able to of some place or where this confrontation happened. I know that there was a request, and I know that the feedback was 4 weeks. So I don't know how there would be any video if there wasn't a camera. I believe that there is.
Either. That's why I asked.
Your Honor, I can explain that.
No, we're gonna. So this was continued once before. Mr. Murphy, anything you'd like to say at this time?
As far as the altercation in the parking
Well, you
lot.
probably shouldn't speak about that right now.
Okay.
I mean, it's just
No,
all right, then this will be reset for 4 weeks, given that request. But this is it, Mr. Koenig. Given what's alleged in the petition, and I'm not sure, I have no idea what happened in the parking lot. I'm hearing about this now for the first time. There'll be no more continuances. This will be heard in 4 weeks, and no order's been entered. And so it's just to have a notice of hearing. We'll print notice. We'll give you folks notices right now. It'll be November 11th. Do we have? It won't be November 11th. We don't have court then. No. We do it on the 12th that week.
Yeah.
Be November 12th. Be on a Tuesday. which means it's going to be at Chandler Court, which is not in this courtroom. It's going to be a different courtroom. So you need to pay attention to that. It's not even in this building, but it's very close to here. It's about a block or two that way.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I'll be sure to report that to Mr. Huxford. No more continuances, and it's November 12th at 9 in the morning at the Chandler courtroom.
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Mr. Huxford, are the petitioners ready?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then, Mr. Murphy, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you're just representing yourself on
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I have an initial concern I'd like to address, and this will be to both of you, but I'm going to start with the petitioners. Reading the material that's been submitted here in the petition and the petitioners' exhibits, as well as the respondents' exhibits too. What strikes me is that this doesn't really sound like an anti-harassment order petition. It sounds like a civil action in nuisance. I have a couple of reasons for saying that I think are important to how this case may eventually go. I think most particularly the allegations that are raised by the Thalhammers have to do with how Mr. Murphy is using his property to create disturbances which affect their quiet enjoyment of their own property, which is why I raise a nuisance as a potential.
Understood, Your Honor.
That is important because the remedies that are available in an anti-harassment petition don't address the complaints that they raise in their petition.
Certainly.
Right. So what's available under RCW 7.105 section 310 is not going to address how loud the car is or whether the car starts early in the morning or late at night. Those are not things that the court can offer relief on under the anti-harassment statute. So I guess the reason I raise that is, do you really want to be here with this kind of a petition, especially in light of the fact that there was no temporary order issued to begin with?
Certainly.
And that, I suppose, will be my question to you, Mr. Huxford.
I think my response to that, Your Honor, would be the timeline of this case and the facts as represented in not only the initial petition itself, but also the subsequent events that have occurred following the initial hearing, an alleged altercation or something to that effect, some sort of confrontation in the parking lot at the last hearing, words that were exchanged between the parties, specifically Mrs. Thalhammer and Mr. Murphy in the courtroom itself. I think what I would also point to the court, this is something that obviously the practitioner immediately came to mind as well, is that a general community nuisance doesn't necessarily create a nexus of facts as it relates to the Thalhammers specifically. I think my response to that, Your Honor, would be that we have a general nuisance that then becomes a specific nuisance through retaliation of Mr. Murphy and his girlfriend. I think that what is important for the court to understand is that the email timelines and threads from late July of this year, in which the Thalhammers essentially reach out to not only the property manager, but also the landlord specifically, and the HOA president and board to address the very issues that you're discussing. At that point, I would have to concede that it is a general nuisance. However, what then occurs is seemingly retaliatory actions by Mr. Murphy in cold starting this vehicle at all hours of the day, not getting ready for work in the morning, not leaving and coming and going from the house, but just coming outside to turn on his car at 1 a.m. to wake the Thalhammers up and specifically retaliate when they had been advised by both the landlord, the property manager, and the HOA that this is an ongoing issue. And so I think that the nexus of facts and the development of these facts as pled is really what's important for the court to hear. Now, as it relates to the remedies, I mean, if Mr. Murphy is excommunicated from going within a certain distance from the house, that solves the problem that we are all addressing. Now, I again understand the court's concern that the specific remedies offered under 7.105 do not necessarily go to the nuisance complaint itself, but I think this is more about presence in the community at large, or presence in the neighborhood at large. And so it's my client's desire to move forward. I certainly understand the court's concerns.
Well, let me just follow up then, because the remedy is not available for the court to exclude Mr. Murphy from his residence.
It's not his residence.
What's that?
It's not his residence. It's the renter's residence. He's just visiting.
It is our contention that it is not Mr. Murphy's residence. And so
can the district court decide that? The district court doesn't have jurisdiction to decide a question like that. I know that anti-harassment actions are attractive because they're cheap and they're fast, and you get into court immediately, a lot of times without the other side even being present. But addressing the actual substantive issues, I think I can understand people don't always understand that when they come to court. They're not, usually people bring these actions on their own. They're not, like legally trained like you are to understand the various different types of causes of action and which courts have jurisdiction over which type, and also which remedies are available, which I think is important here. It may be appropriate to think of this in another way, because while we could sit here, we could have a hearing, it could be proved that there is a nuisance going on in the neighborhood, but that's a different thing than proving that there's harassment. And then what can the court actually offer by way of a remedy for any nuisance that's going on? That probably would be nothing. I mean, the court cannot tell him he can't live there. And the court can't tell him when he can come and go, or how he can use his property, how anyone can use real property. So it may not be a practical thing to get any relief that would be meaningful. Now, a nuisance action, of course, would provide a whole different set of remedies and damages that aren't available in an action like this. So I'm willing to hear it as an anti-harassment petition. But if it is going to go forward as an anti-harassment petition, I'm not going to consider any nuisance issues. We're going to focus it down to just what constitutes statutory harassment, with specific regard to what remedies may be available to address that harassment. Leave them alone, don't communicate with them, don't stalk them, those things are all on the table, but those things don't seem to be what were complained of in the petition. You want to take a minute?
May I? Yeah, if I could take a minute to confer.
Why don't we do that? Let's take a
So Ms. Pope, why don't you come on the Zoom call, and Ms. Wren can come on the cell phone. This is a holdover from last week. Ms. Wren, you need to unmute your phone, please. Ms. Wren, you there? Oh, did we lose Tamaya Santos?
She was trying to get phone.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay.
Okay, all right, we'll come back to that in a minute. So Ms. Pope and Mr. Garner are both here. Who's going to speak first?
You want me to? Okay. I'll start.
Okay, can you raise your right hand, please? You swear information testimony you provide will be the truth and nothing but the truth? Did you hear me?
Yes.
Mr.
Yeah,
Garner,
sorry.
did you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Sorry.
you swear and affirm the information. Okay, did you say yes when I asked you if
I did. Sorry.
All right, I missed it. They keep telling me technology is supposed to make my life better. So go ahead. I'll hear from you. How is it you need an order against? Hang on, give me just a minute here. I need to call up the right case. And so I guess I start. This is basically a next door neighbor. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Go ahead. I'll hear from you.
Yeah. So we moved into this apartment in October last year, around Christmas, late December. We started having issues. It started with me and my son were playing outside in the backyard. And I had walked onto the porch just outside of Miss Wren's vision. And probably a few seconds later, I started hearing little boy, Miss Wren calling out Emery to just asking him to come over. And I promptly brought my son inside, and that was about that. But, left us very uncomfortable. You shouldn't be calling over a little kid. And so since that point, we had several occasions where she would come over to the fence and try to talk to our son when he was out there, talk to our dog. And then I know Isabel had talked to her a few times and asked her to leave us alone, stop calling over the dog, stop calling over our son. And we got a knock on the door. I'm not sure exactly when, but it was from Animal Services saying that our dog was being neglected. Yes. And so they came in, they checked everything, saw that it was unfounded. They said that if it happens again, that they'll just ignore it and go from there. And I think after that, then we saw Miss Wren at the fence again saying, oh, I understand she's a guard dog. It's not even that. It's just the dog doesn't like the small apartment. She wants to be outside. And then we also will hear, I know that I heard it one night, just her yelling to take her dog inside. And it was like 8 or so. And mind you, we take her dog every night before bed. And so it shouldn't be yelling through our windows. And then we also got a knock at the door. I know that I was at work during that time, but do you want to speak on that?
May I share this? Because this was kind of pertaining to me, but I haven't been sworn in.
Could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear to affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You can put your hand down. Go ahead, ma'am.
So I was cooking dinner, and it was just my son and I in the apartment, and the windows were open, the back door was open, dog was outside, of course, and my son misbehaved. I can't remember exactly what he did, so I put him on timeout. What we do is put him on timeout for the amount of minutes as his age. So I put him on timeout for 3 minutes, and of course he's 3, so he's crying. And 3 minutes is up, I take him off timeout, and I begin talking to him and explaining to him why he's on timeout, and I hear a voice, and I think maybe the TV's on, so I kind of go around and check the area, see if maybe I left something on. And I saw Miss Wren standing at our fence on the phone talking, and I peek out the door and I say, please get away from the fence. And she said, I'm on the phone with the police. You're neglecting your child. He's been crying for his mommy and you're not responding to that. And at this point, I'm just frustrated. And you can hear me on her phone with the police call saying, get away from my property, get away from my fence, leave me alone. And I'm so frazzled at this point. I call the police and I ask someone to come out because saying I'm neglecting my kid, that's a serious accusation. And the police come out and they come in and look at my son. I explained the situation and they said that there seems to be no sign of neglect. It's just a 3-year-old crying. And I told the police what was going on, that we've just had problems after problems. And at this point, I feel like I'm being harassed. And the police officer said if I felt the need to, I could go file a protection order. So the next day or the day after, I believe I went to the court to file a protection order.
Yeah.
All right.
And then
anything further there, Mr. Garner?
Yeah, so we after she was served the first time, it is the first time that we've done any sort of order or any sort of court anything. So we it took us 3 times to figure it out. And so we served her the first time, but it was late. The second time we thought that the first order was fine and so on and so forth. But between those instances, our son was at home with our babysitter, Isabel's cousin. Mm-hmm. And while she was out there playing with our son Emery, he got scared by a spider and he yelled. And Kathleen started trying to speak to him again, and it's just after the order was already put in. And I know that there's not a temporary thing, but it's just after we've asked, after she's aware that there's still a court case and she's still trying to reach out to our son.
Yeah, we just want to be left alone.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to worry about my son in the backyard called over, like my dog being called over. I just want to be left alone.
All right. Let me hear from Ms. Wren. Ms. Wren, you on the Zoom call?
No, I'm not on Zoom. I'm on the telephone.
You're on the telephone. You're on the cell phone. All right.
Yeah.
So can you raise your right hand?
Yes.
You swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
So what say you to all of this?
Okay, so first of all, I've never seen Zachary Garner, it says here. I've never seen him in my life. I've seen and spoke with Isabella Pope twice ever, and it was not up to the fence other than the 911 call that I had to make on the day. Well, I don't even have the exact date on that day when that occurred. I know it's been at least about a month and a half ago. So I'll just start. So about a month and a half ago, I had heard a child screaming and yelling, and this did not go on for 3 minutes, like they said. It went on for several minutes, maybe 7, 8 minutes. But to the extreme, it just sounded like, and I am a mom too, I have 2 boys. It sounded like the child was in hurting, like something had happened. I wasn't in fear that the mother was neglecting or hurting her child in any way. I just thought, this isn't right. There's something not right about this. So I personally cannot physically walk very far. So I decided to make a 911 call. And so when I was trying to talk with them, I was trying to get over there as best I could with my walker and let her know I was on the phone. Is everything okay with her? And she said, get on. I was on the phone with 911. She said, get off my property. I said, ma'am, I'm not on your property. And 911 call can verify that. I said, I am not on your property. I'm on the other side of the fence, which there's like 5 fences that link their property across from mine. I'm about 40 feet behind them. So anyways, I was on the phone and she's yelling and screaming. And so 911 operator got a police officer on the phone with me and said that they couldn't get any officer over to me at that time. So she said, but what you could do is call CPS. You could, there's other things you could do. And I said, no, I don't feel like it's that. I did not feel she was neglecting her child in any way. And I just said, I just feel like maybe the child's hurt or the mom couldn't get to him, something's going on. So that's what happened with that. Then all of a sudden, like a police officer starts walking towards me. So he said, yes, he goes, I heard that you had called. And I said, yes. And I explained what was going on about the child. I didn't make any accusations whatsoever about the mother neglecting this child or father or whoever. I don't even know this guy. I've never even seen him in my life ever. And so the next part is him. All this testimony, Your Honor, is unbelievable. I literally can't walk. I have no knees. I have scoliosis, spinal stenosis, degenerative disc disease, no knees. I can barely get around. I have 2 caregivers that have to come in and take care of me. I have which had showed up to court on that day, and I was supposed to come there. I couldn't drive or make it, and she's there for like medical court if I had it, which I have not been to court in a lot of years since my divorce. And this testimony I'm blown away. I am blown away. The one thing especially when somebody
hang on just a second. I'm gonna stop you here. Can you stop for a second?
Sure.
So I guess I'm not too sure why you're blown away. I think you said you're a parent, and
yes.
Don't you think that it would be fairly? I mean, and I'm one too, and kids are going to cry sometimes. Kids are going to scream sometimes. Sure. It happens to everyone. Sure. And do you see how that might be upsetting for some kid who's a 3-year-old who I don't know any of you folks, but I've seen 3-year-olds throw tantrums before. Sometimes they go on longer than 3 minutes. And do you see how that might be upsetting to a parent who's having to deal with that tantrum at the same time have the cops show up and say, hey, what are you doing to your kid? So, I mean, I guess I'm a little bit surprised that you're finding that this is so unbelievable. I think that'd be upsetting to any parent, wouldn't it?
No, I'm not. That's not what's unbelievable. The unbelievable part are the accusations of me when she's saying on page 11 of 13, she's saying that I am afraid she will try to take my son or my dog because she continues to harass me. That is a huge accusation. I mean, Your Honor, I physically could not get over their fence for one thing. I could barely walk over in that yard because of all the calls. I have empathy for her. I absolutely get it. I
Okay,
think this
so
is
hang on
probably
just a
her
second,
first
just a
time.
second. I'm going to stop you again because the other
Okay.
thing is, you know, this dog, apparently you made a complaint to animal services of some sort, which I don't know. Again, I don't know anything about this dog. You know, all dogs have different habits of that sort. I mean,
Your
do you
Honor,
see how that would be? I was a dog owner. I'm not a dog owner anymore, unfortunately, but I mean, I think that would be fairly upsetting if animal services showed up at my front door saying, "Hey, what are you doing to your dog?" Do you see how that would be upsetting?
Sure. But I did not call animal services. Please ask them where the proof is, because there's no proof of this. This is all false information, Your Honor. That's why I'm upset. I literally am struck. You know what I worry about? I have a son that just went into Coast Guard and got in a over 100 miles an hour bike accident and spent 2 months in the hospital. You know what? Those are the things I worry about. I know having a child, how important it is to keep them safe. I do. Miss Isabel, I understand that. That's your child, your pride, your everything. And I would be protective too. But I just want to resolve this. I do not mean you guys any harm. I have not been up to your fence coercing your child to come to the fence in any way. And I don't know your dog, so I'm not going to go approach a dog if it's going to attack me. I'm not. I have so many medical issues, Your Honor. I just literally, I'm sorry, I don't have time for this. But I understand. So I know, you're the judge, you're going to make the decision, but literally, I'm not going to go out in my backyard. That's where I spend my kind of zen time, my little garden area. And I'm not going to look straight forward every single day of my life. It's ridiculous. I'm not going to harm their children or their dog.
I think they want you just to leave them alone. Don't call out to the child. Just let them run their own dog the way they want to.
Absolutely. You're right.
That makes sense?
No, it makes sense. Absolutely.
All right. So I'm going to come back to Ms. Pope and Mr. Garner. How long have you folks lived there?
About a year.
Yeah, we're coming up on a year.
Okay. And then she was there when you moved in?
Yes.
Correct.
How did you get along before all this started?
I spoke to her before this.
Correct.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
We never spoke to her before this.
Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah.
So here's what's going to happen here today. Go ahead. Do you want to say something, Ms. Pope?
Oh, I was just saying the only occasion that I spoke to her was what I relayed to you when she's at the fence. I told her the dog's fine. Can you just leave us alone? But there was no other. Yeah. Sorry.
All right. So here's where we're at today there, Ms. Wren, Ms. Pope, Mr. Garner. I read the definition of anti-harassment or what harassment is and things of that sort earlier. Typically harassment is, well, in the more traditional sense, if two parties are in a relationship, one breaks up, the other person won't leave the other person alone, calling, texting at all hours of the night, or makes some threats to harm, or, I'm going to come over there and beat. We see this a lot in neighborhood situations. Unfortunately, I'm going to come over there and beat you up, or throw rocks through your windows or something like that. This is somewhat of an unusual case in that, I can't do, constitutionally protected free speech. People can call police. I can't stop them from doing that. I can't stop them from calling. And I don't know whether they called CPS or animal control or not. I can't stop anyone from doing that. But, one thing that I can do is if you're bothering a neighbor more than what they're asking for, then I can do an order to stop that. So Ms. Wren, I've heard I think you have some clear understanding of what Ms. Pope and Mr. Garner expect from their next door neighbor. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. Yes, I do.
All right. So I'm going to deny the request for an order. Listen to me. I'm not going to enter an order here today, but I'll tell everybody, if something reoccurs, what sort of contact they want from you, Ms. Wren, and that's none. If they get additional contact or some other things happen, then they can refile and bring back, and next time they'll get the order. Do you understand that?
Okay. Yes.
All right. And that's what will happen here today. So I'm going to deny an order is not going to be entered. But like I say, if, if something reoccurs, other things happen, then they can refile and bring back, and next time they'll get the order. Do you understand that?
Okay. Yes.
All right. And that's what'll happen here today. So I'm going to deny an order is not going to be entered. But like I say, Everybody should be on the same page as what they expect from each other. And then,
I do.
like I say, if
Yeah.
something else happens there, Ms. Wren, we'll be back here, which no one wants. I mean, they don't want Mrs. Pope and Mr. Gardner. They don't want to have to mess around with this. And I don't think you do either. So
No,
that'll be it for today.
Thank you.
You're free to leave the Zoom call.
I apologize.
Hang on just a second.
I apologize.
Ms. Wren, you need to
Honor.
stop. Mr. Gardner, you wanted to say
Okay.
something?
Oh, I was just saying thank you.
You're welcome. Ms. Wren, did you want to say anything?
No, I just want peace with my neighbors. I apologize for anything, any inconvenience, and I hope we can be good neighbors after this, and no more conflict.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
That's
want
it.
the same.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you all are free to go. Good luck. I hope things get
Thank
ironed
you.
out out there.
Thank
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Bye.
We lost. So Ms. Santos was here and now she's gone. So I don't know whether we're going to get her back or not. So we're going to I have one other case, then I'll come back to you. And given that, I'm not inclined to normally I would do a default when someone doesn't appear, but then that she did appear, we'll probably reset this, but we'll see if she rejoins us. But I know she was here originally. So Mr. Dean, you can come on the Zoom call. So Mr. Dean, I'll start with you. Kind of sounds like this has been well, let me hear from you. You're the petitioner. Can you raise your right hand, please? You swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? How is it you're asking for an order against both Smiths?
Well, I'm asking for special consideration for a restraining order today because I'm a retired, disabled senior, and my doctor, I'm under a doctor's care right now about my blood pressure. My blood pressure is a serious problem, but we've made big gains in that, and we're almost to a point where we can eliminate the blood pressure medicine. However, in doing that, it's made my blood pressure sporadic. It goes up, and way down. So I'm at a vulnerable state in my life.
How long have you lived there?
I've lived here for 25 years now.
How long have the Smiths lived there? I'll ask them, but how long have they been your neighbors?
17 years.
Okay. And so have you gotten along? I mean, 17 years, you live next to each other. We're just now getting to the point where an order is necessary. That seems a bit over the top to me. But well, I'm
going to tell you why that's over the top. It's over the top because Mr. Aaron there seems to think that he should tell me what to do on my property. And all I'm doing is what everybody does in this world: mow their lawn, blow the leaves, pick up the debris. Maybe I ride my bike in the backyard. I have a hip problem, so I need some way to get around my yard and do my, lawn stuff that I do. This is my retirement. My house is my retirement. I plant things, I change things, and, I work around the house. Mr. Smith doesn't want me doing that. So he yells and screams and berates me and calling me names and things in front of my family and friends and my neighbors. And, the first time that he did it to me, I just let him go because it looked like he was going to have a heart attack. His face was solidly red and, and I recognized that because I too have high blood pressure. And so I let him go. I let him say what he wanted to say, and I walked away after I was done. And he kept on yelling and screaming at me. But then things were quiet for a while. And about a couple months later, I was doing something else. I think I was riding my quad, pulling my wagon around, because I was doing a job around the house. And he came out and started yelling and screaming at me again. I realized at that point, I should have stopped him the first time because now he's trying to bully me all the time. I can't see him, because my fence is 6-7 feet tall on my side, but on his side, it's, 4 or 5 feet. He can see me. So
I don't understand that. I mean, if there's one fence and you can see him and he can see you, I don't quite get that. How does that work?
His ground is built up on his side.
I see. Okay. All right.
But I can't, and so, Mr. Smith, flies off the handle on me and starts yelling and screaming on the second time they did it. I figured, hey, I shouldn't have let him get away with it first time because he's bullying me. And I started calling him every name I could think of, and so then.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. This seems kind of like verbal ping pong, for lack of a better term.
That's all it is. That's exactly what it is. Whenever his wife, Jennifer, that happens to be an HR consultant for the state, knows all these key words to put in restraining order. So she told him to put in things like, the kids are there, I'm drinking in my driveway, I'm the initiator to all these problems here. But the fact is, if I'm mowing my lawn and I'm blowing my leaves and I'm riding my quad and all that stuff in my backyard, life sounds pretty good for me. Why would I yell at him? He started yelling at me. I'm only responding to him.
And it's your fence.
And I built that fence on top of that. She mentions things about some animals about 6 years ago or 10 years ago, something like that they don't have anymore. That's gone. Thank God for that. But it used to dig out underneath my fence. They did nothing. I poured concrete down there so that it's nice and so that there's no gap underneath the fence anymore, so they can't get underneath the fence, and air flows underneath my fence. And my fence that I built over 20 years ago is still in good shape because I take care of it. He doesn't. He seems to think that the leaves that fall off the trees around here, which aren't all mine, but are some mine, is my fault. I can't do anything about that on his side of the fence. So I blow as much as I can underneath that little crack in the fence on the bottom of the fence, and he gets all upset about that. So I've asked him to do it. I said, when he banged on the fence, I was back there blowing on the fence one day, or along the fence there, and he starts banging on the fence with his fist right next to my head. It startled me. I didn't know what the heck was going on. I stood up on a stump right next to him, and I asked him, what are you doing? My head is right there. And then he went off on me, started yelling and screaming at me, and that's when he turned red in the face, and I thought he was going to have a heart attack, so I just let him go. Another incident goes by where
right. So let me you've said that and you've written that out there, and let me hear from Mr. Smith and see what he has to say. So Mr. Smith, could you raise your right hand? Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Go ahead. I'll hear from you. What's your position on all of this?
Okay. So like he said, we've lived here for 17 years. And I guess I'll start with the fence with the leaf issue. It's frustrating for us. I mean, it's nature, but we don't have any maple trees in our yard, and all the leaves from his yard blow into ours. So we have a huge task every year of cleaning up leaves that aren't ours. When he does blow to create the air gap under the fence, he blows his leaves from under his fence into our yard as well. So that kind of compounds the frustration. We've tried to be good neighbors and haven't said anything for years and years and years. And finally it came to a head. I did bang on the fence, but he has a commercial backpack blower, and I yelled for his name at first. He couldn't hear me, so I banged on the fence so he could hear me. I don't know how close his fence was since he was blowing leaves under the fence. So, I wasn't trying to hit him by his head. I figured he was away with the leaf blower. And then, yes, I was frustrated, and I firmly explained that I didn't like him blowing the leaves under the fence. I've never been able to do any landscaping next to the fence because he always blows stuff under there. And
Kills our plants.
And yeah, he kills our plants and everything when he blows leaves under there. And he popped up his head over. He saw the condition of it, and he knows what he's doing.
They agreed to stop.
So yeah, so he agreed to stop.
Just let him speak,
Yes.
and then if you wish to testify, I'll swear you in and hear from you.
So he agreed to stop. He didn't make any arrangement with me to do any cleaning, to blow and maintain the fence. He said he was going to finish it the day of the interaction, and then said he was going to stop, but he still continues to blow leaves under the fence to this day. I will, since we're talking about the fence, I will address the dog that he is glad is gone. I had a dog, a Chihuahua, that was a digger, and I didn't like him digging under the fence either. So I had put some chicken wire, and he and I had had a conversation about this. I had put chicken wire along the bottom of the fence so my dog couldn't dig through in order to stop that, because I don't like that happening. I don't want my dog getting out of my yard. And then so we did have a interaction about, so he was in this backyard with his quad, and he has a history of if a neighbor is making noise that he doesn't like, he weaponizes it and will drive it back and forth and make dust and rub it up. And me and my wife were both sick with COVID and trying to just get some fresh air. And he comes from the backyard flying over to where he parks it in front of his slider, and a huge cloud of dust came out. He was going very fast. And I told him, strongly worded, hey, don't do that. Because I know that he was weaponizing it against the neighbors. And then, our neighbor's house and our house also got completely dusted out. And then that's when he really got verbally aggressive, threatened to he wanted me to come over so he could beat me up, and threatened physical, bodily harm. So those are, I think that's, addressing most of what he has said. Has been some other incidents on 9/12 this month, this year. I had our mailbox. We have like a community mailbox. It's got like 6 or 8 boxes in it, like at the end of his driveway. So I have to go right to where he is, to his house, to get my mail. And I went to go get mail on 9/12. And I walked up there. I had my cell phone on, and I grabbed my mail. He's working, and then the first comment out of his mouth is, "Hey, dickhead." And then that's when I explained to him that I wanted to be left alone because I felt he was harassing me. And then I don't know if you saw any of the video of those, but he continues to go on and threatens me.
I didn't see any video in this case. I
think we sent 10 videos over.
Did that make it in here? When did you send them?
They're under the other case number, sir.
What's the other case number? I only see the case ending in 326. Is there another case?
It's supposed to be at the same time.
We filed a case, and we're supposed to be being heard at the same time for ours.
I did not see that. Calendar.
Hold on, we'll get you the other case number.
You have a number?
One moment.
Yeah. 1 second. It is 24000 hang on, 331.
Okay.
There's a lot.
That was set for whatever
that.
reason. That was set for next week. Can you put it on there?
The information we were emailed said that it was for today.
Yeah, we were told that they would blend both cases, hear them both at the same time, and we received paperwork back from the court.
All right, give me a minute here. I didn't realize that. I didn't make it to the court here.
And I submitted some an additional statement that was emailed from another neighbor.
I did see that. Did see that.
So there should be 3 statements and about a dozen videos.
Actually, there's 28 videos.
28 videos.
And
okay, we're not going to have time to see all those. I can tell you that.
It's important information.
The last video
I know.
was the recording of the mailbox.
Hang on just a minute, ma'am. Just a minute. What is this one again? 33 what?
331.
That says Kitty Boring. This wasn't on the calendar, which is why I didn't read it. Okay, that's fine. It was on set for next week. All right. Did you get a chance to see those videos there, Mr. Dean? So I didn't see that you've been served with a petition also. I didn't see, I'm looking at this right now for the first time.
Yeah, they served me about 5 days after I'd served them. And
All right.
everything else.
All right, so here's what's gonna happen today, Mr. Dean and Mr. and Ms. Smith. We're just gonna reset this 1 week. We'll all be back here next week. And, but that's, yeah. And I'm just gonna give a ruling. I'm gonna relook at these. You don't need, no one needs to testify any further. I think I understand what's going on out there. So but I haven't had a chance to look at this stuff. And so you're right, there's a lot of videos here. Let me look at these and then I'll come back next week and I can just give a decision right there in the spot. We don't need to go through the attendance and all that. So this will be your only notice. You guys can be back here next week at 9 a.m.?
9 a.m. on this coming Monday.
Courtroom 3?
Yes, ma'am. We'll do it that way.
Yeah.
So will there be any temporary?
No, there's no order entered right now in either case, and that's not going to change.
So neither party should be speaking to the other. Is that correct?
That's probably not it's not an order, but it's probably be a great idea not to. Seems like speaking to each other leads to unpleasant events from both sides.
Correct. I agree.
So you folks are free to go. We'll see you back here next week.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Courtroom 3, sir.
Yes, to be exact same time, same channel.
Okay, just next week.
1 week from today.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, and how files? We haven't seen any of them.
Yeah.
Well, you can access that through the Thurston County District Court website. You can get there. You can contact the civil office and you can see you can see those things.
Okay, we'll contact them then. Thank you.
You should have had a letter that says additional evidence and with instructions of how to log in. So go through your stuff. You should have a letter about what additional evidence was filed and then how you can access it.
Okay.
Thank you.
You, ma'am, come on up and take a seat.
Sorry, my anxiety is really bad.
What's that?
My anxiety is really bad.
Okay, well, nothing's gonna happen today, so take a deep breath. All right. And so hang on just a minute. Let me talk because the clerk is gonna give me some information.
Yes, there was one of things out of country, so when they talked to her, it was like 1 a.m.
Okay.
They lost connection, so.
She's been messaging her boyfriend this entire time.
Okay. Is she deployed someplace?
No, she's not deployed. She's just visiting her family in Guam.
I see. Was she in Guam when you had her served?
I'm unsure if she was, but it was by email.
Received proof of service from OPD. Okay.
She made a big deal about it.
What do you mean a big deal about it?
Like she was going crazy to my boyfriend and even threatened. I have like a screenshot of her.
Okay, so but she got the service?
Yes, okay. She threatened to post all of my information on her social media and stuff.
So was a temporary order?
No.
Just a second. How did City of Olympia get her email address?
I had her email address and it was on the petition.
You're in the Army. You're in this. Okay. Is she in the armed forces? All right. So what we're going to do here today, ma'am, is really all I can do is we're just going to reset this for 2 weeks and then reserve her with this notice, and then we'll reconvene that.
Okay.
And that's just really all I mean, she was here, but that stopped, and that's pretty much all I can do here for today.
Okay.
Is this, and again, it's just so I get the understanding, this is either an ex-wife or an ex-partner of your current boyfriend, an ex-girlfriend. Okay, and are there kids involved in this, or is just?
They have one together. I have one from somebody else.
That's fine. Okay, no, I just want to make sure I get in a sense of what's going on here. So we'll come on up here for the notice of hearing, and then they'll need to be reserved. And you can appear by Zoom.
Yeah, I tried. That was why I was late today. Because I tried.
All right. Well, I have to tell you, Zoom drives me nuts sometimes. You can appear in person also. Whatever you want to do is fine, but they'll need to get reserved with that, and then we'll try this again in 2 weeks.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that. You may go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck. Be careful. Yikes. We'll do and off of Zoom.